kicking this can down the road long enough. This is Pearl and Michael Knowles in the same room together. Are there enough wives to go around, they ask? Such an important question.
In the current market, there are just not enough wives to go around.
Oh, well, 4 seconds in. We can stop now, right? Asked and answered. In the current market, there's not enough to go around. Pearl is still available? Oh, no, she hit the wall? That's rough. The wife market. Are there enough husbands to go around? Plenty.
There are not enough wives to go, women that deserve to be wives, in my opinion. Okay,
Sure.
You'd agree on that, right?
Well, I don't.
Like so.
I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Maybe I would agree, but I don't know exactly what you mean by it.
Okay. Do you think men should have standards?
Yes.
Do you think it's okay for them to want a woman that's in shape? Do you think that's an okay standard?
Yes, good.
Okay.
Watson, thanks for the prime. You can have preferences and stuff. I would just ask you where your preferences come from, right? If you just have an innate preference toward little skinny people, that's 100% fine. But I feel like most of the time, your attraction will be warped very much so by what you think the expectations are for you to have like connections with. Like are you embarrassed to be seen with someone as handsome and as large as myself? No, of course not. You'd be filled with glee. But for someone as fit and skinny as Michael Knowles, you may feel some embarrassment. He looks like a joke character a little bit. Pearl really wants someone to wife her up rather. Yeah, I bet so.
A girl that's religious. Would you say that's good? Okay,
necessary.
But that's not the majority. That's not the majority. So
fit and religious girls. That's it. That's it. Yeah, I certainly don't want a religious person, and I have no standards for body size personally. I'm just attracted to you or I'm not. I don't really think about it, if I'm 100% honest. I might just be a slut, but I haven't seen many girls that I'm like, you're ugly, you know? It's more like, oh, most people I think are, relatively attractive, and then some people there's something about them. I'm just attracted. I don't know what to do. I don't have a list. It's just a vibe, man.
what are men supposed to do in the meantime?
They're supposed to convince the women to get in shape and get religious.
Good luck.
Wow. All right. Let's do it, man. Go ahead and convince them.
Look, I've done it for a year.
Yeah. Oh, and Pearl is so good at convincing people of things. That's true.
Good luck.
You haven't had, but maybe the men would be more persuasive than you would to these women.
Good luck.
I don't know.
Did the OnlyFans models quit that you interviewed?
Ooh, it's a little chippy in this room. Shit. I like that. Okay. I didn't know they were fighting a little. Hell yeah. This will make it more bearable.
I don't know if that, I've only interviewed a few on whatever.
No, the shows. That's the point.
There's actually,
so it's funny when misogyny gets targeted at Pearl, she took it personally.
there.
And then she sniped back at Michael there. Funny.
I mean, miracles happen, but I wouldn't bet on it.
There are a couple gals. There are a couple gals who've written into my show, not from the Whatever podcast,
Yeah.
but who were watching my show, and really watching in the member block and everything. Who were both like online pornographers to some degree, and one said she was going to quit. I kind of lost track of her in the show. Another one quit, had a major conversion, and what a wonderful evidence of the glory of God.
Was it the one on?
What wonderful evidence of the glory of God is that someone stopped porn? They were members of the Daily Wire doing porn. Literally, he said they were members of Daily Wire Plus. You think that person was ostensibly left-wing or something? I do not.
Twitter?
Yes.
Yeah, her OF link was still up. So a lot of times...
She denied it. Someone said that was true.
Her
I didn't
OF
see it.
link was still up. Yes, it was. I checked it.
I didn't
Yes, it was. I'm positive.
She posted it and showed that it wasn't still up.
It was
I don't know.
still up. But
I don't know. She seemed pretty sincere to me.
my-
But in any case, are you denying the principle that people can change?
Yeah, I mean, God can forgive you, but men don't have to.
I'm not talking about
think
forgiveness.
it's.
I'm not
but
talking about-
I
I'm
wouldn't
talking about
say-
repentance.
Repentance is good, but I wouldn't say that makes her wife worthy if you still used to have an OF account.
Oh, right. Okay, it's over. One OnlyFans account. That's it. I'm not wife material, chat. Who will make me their wife?
You would agree that men, in general,
Yeah.
should not date women that had OnlyFans accounts.
It's not ideal. But
Okay,
I don't
but
think it's
you can't
disqualifying.
definitively.
I don't think it's disqualifying. I am a man, after all. This is like this is the most evidence I've ever seen from Michael Knowles being straight in my life. He's just like, no, I'm not gonna not fucking marry a hot person, you know.
You
I don't
can't
think so.
definitively say that a woman. Okay.
I don't think it's disqualifying. I mean,
Well,
because,
I think you're gonna have a tough time selling guys on that.
I'm not convinced of it. I mean, to quote St. John Vianney, the saints didn't all start well, but they all ended well. So I wouldn't recommend that people get involved in porn in any way.
Okay.
But there's also, on the men's side of things, men are in a little rough shape because of our modern culture too. A lot are addicted to porn. A lot have hooked up with a lot of people. A lot of kind of indulged perversions and things like that. Doesn't make them
Perversions. Okay, never mind. Reverse card. Now it sounds like the gayest shit Mike's ever said, because now it sounds like he's turning a little inward and like, well, I don't know, I've done gay porn before and I feel like I'm on my repentance vibes. I feel like I'm in my straight era, my heterosexual period of time. So yeah, never mind. Sorry, false alarm. It's my bad, dude. It's just, I'm just a cishet guy. I was centering my own thoughts.
particularly marriageable either.
But why is it whenever we say something about the women, we have to say but men?
Oh my God, she wants men to like her so much. But I gotta say, as a man, this is so fucking pathetic. I hate you're speaking down to me almost. Ugh. Anyone who says perversions has some dark ass skeletons in their closet, I cannot imagine a thing that is a perversion. The only thing I would agree that is like perversion, that like when I hear perversion, I think sex pest, not someone who likes, I don't know, what's Michael like? Men. I mean, just not like gays or something. Not like the gays. Not like butt stuff or fucking, I don't know, just no kink or anything. None of that's perversion. Anything with consenting adults is fine in my opinion. Perversion is when it's non-consent and like kids, which is non-consent.
Well, because it's an observable fact, and marriage
stuff, yeah,
involves men and women.
I know, but all I'm saying, Michael, all I'm saying is, don't date. Like, it's just crazy sometimes. I get so curious because I say, men shouldn't date women that used to have OnlyFans. Like that shouldn't even be an argument.
Disagree.
That should
I don't
be
know. I don't know. I mean, again, it's not ideal to have.
You wouldn't date a woman with an OnlyFans.
I wouldn't date any woman now because I'm happily married.
No. But if you were single, right? You wouldn't do that.
It would be an obstacle. It would be an obstacle.
It would be such a big obstacle.
It would be an
obstacle. Do it. But
dude, these people are so fucking weird. Michael Knowles is trying not to out himself as someone who's like, I'm just attracted to women, and if like, it's not even unreasonable for Michael Knowles to be like, look, if someone today is compatible with me, I don't really care about yesterday, and I don't fucking really disagree with him. Like, of course, he's trying to convert people to Christianity and, like, conservatism, which is stupid. And I don't care because foundationally, ethically, I don't care, right? Your conduct is what I care about, right? The person you are to me and like around. I mean, you'd have to do some pretty fucked up shit for me to hold it against you still, right? Like way worse than fucking having an OnlyFans. Actual things that hurt people, not things that Michael Knowles and Pearl have fucking icks about. You have to kill some kids for me to be like, okay, look. What were those kids doing? I love you very much. What were those kids doing? Why did they deserve it? Oh, you were in the IDF? Never mind. No, you're dumped.
Yeah. That's the problem. I interview guys that are dating a girl for 6 months. They find out she used to have an OnlyFans account. These are real things that happen.
Sure. Yeah. It's not ideal. Though,
damn.
Frankly, to your point, I've been out of dating for a long time. But these days, can one find a girlfriend? I mean, I assume it can happen. But in modern kind of liberal secular dating, can one find a girlfriend who's never texted a naked picture of herself?
Yes. Yeah. What? These people totally exist. There's lots of people who don't want their nudes on the internet. Liberal, secular dating circles. I have absolutely talked to people who've never sent nudes. It's totally a thing. Some people just like to send nudes. I mean, some people, we're just sexual people though, right? And most people don't have like a huge compunction with that. But I mean, like some do. Fun fact, I've never sent nudes. Wow. Wow, Michael Knowles respects you and your lack of nudes.
I don't know. Women do this all the time now, and then it becomes a big scandal when they get.
Yeah, and so do those women deserve to be wives?
I don't know that we deserve much of anything.
But
ought we to do it? Is my
That's my point. Is the women of today are not the women of yesterday, and it's becoming more and more difficult to find the women that you're talking about, and there are not enough to go around.
But you're.
Are you one of these women that you think is good enough to go around?
That's my point.
Sure, but you're framing this as a question of who deserves to be married. But my framing of it is what one ought to do, that marriage is a natural end of our nature.
I don't deal in oughts, I deal with what is. Not what I want the world to be.
But the is of our nature implies an ought in our action.
But
actually I don't agree at all. There's not really oughts. I mean, only when you're talking like philosophical oughts, and like you ought to get married is not a philosophical ought. That is a social ought. You don't have to do anything. Like an ethical ought would be like, you ought not harm someone, right? That's true. You ought not harm someone, usually with the caveat that isn't harming you or someone else or something like that. But marriage definitely isn't natural to our being. It's not. I mean, I think socializing and sexuality definitely is, but how that's organized is not a specific social ought. There's human social constructs that sort of pull us in certain directions.
But it's not about what we want it to be, Michael. It's about what the world is.
No, I'm just saying how people ought to behave. The
horny games where men kill each other in a battle royale style manhunt, and the winner gets one girlfriend. Let's go.
Ought to get married is what I'm saying.
Okay, well,
which is implied by our nature, which is the is.
I totally disagree with that, Michael.
Okay.
Right.
And she's not smart enough to disagree.
Because at the very least, bro, you would say people want to have kids, right?
No, some people want to have kids for sure. I think more people have the physical desire to have sex than want to have kids. Wanting to have kids is something that comes secondary to that.
I mean, if women wanted to have kids so bad, why are they killing them? Like,
fucking Jesus Christ.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of abortion. It's dreadful. But I'm just saying people in general, you would admit, want to have kids.
God, she's so fucking cringe. She takes some time. It feels like she's trying to figure out which way to pivot it every single time.
Sometimes they do and they don't. I mean, women aren't having kids like they used to. I talk to women all the time that say they don't want to have kids.
People, they say it's unfortunate. People say a lot of those things.
And that's where it's going.
But I guess,
but half of women are going to be single and childless by 2030.
What about
that's
these
the way
men?
the world's going.
The men you're talking about, the men want to have kids, right? Or no, they're also degenerates. Everyone's just a degenerate now.
I can't believe it's so crazy that this is the only. I've disagreed with Michael. I've disagreed with Pearl. They both suck in this. I can't believe that Michael Knowles sounds more overall reasonable. And I disagree with him wholly. Oh, just everyone's a degenerate now? Like, that's just a reasonable thing to say. Obviously, that's not what's happening, you dummy. But, like, degenerate, like, just the concept of degeneracy, I disagree with. It's so funny. And nonetheless, Pearl sounds dumber. It sounds like she's always trying to get to the next sort of, like, not even really zinger. They're almost like right-wing tautologies. I don't even know what to call them. If this is that, then why is this? Why do we always bring up men after we? What about men after we say what women should do?
Men want marriage, relationships, and families. Men want that in general.
Okay.
But there are obstacles now that make it increasingly.
They're not even axioms.
Difficult for men to do that.
One is that.
Because the girl had naked pictures on the internet or something. Wow.
Yeah, it's really common.
So you would sacrifice having children?
One is that the women are increasingly lower quality. They've gained weight.
They've gained weight. Pearl, stop it. We've seen what you look like. You look like you play volleyball, which no shade, or used to play volleyball. It does not look like you're currently conditioned to play volleyball. You look like a former volleyball player, okay? No shame. You're a little lanky and stuff. You got thickness, and it's not like you're not this like typical person. I guarantee you there are people who are attracted nonetheless to Pearl, although they're not showing up and marrying her. This is like It's the Dave thing. Like, when you body shame people for not being ideal body and you're not an ideal body, you just fucking can't do that, man. It's such a cell phone. Like, is she doing it as a self-deprecation thing? Is she throwing herself under the bus during this? Is it all part of the grift, just as part of the rage bait model? Like, clearly there's an aspect of this that is calculated by her because she's so predictably stupid, but she's also just regular stupid. Eric E could fix her? Wow.
The body count numbers are up.
Maybe Eric C.
I don't know, like get them a job.
Oh, good luck. You know, I tried to pay a girl to lose weight. I swear to God I did. Because she came on my show. No, I swear. I swear. And I said, because she was really fat, and I told her to. And I was like, I'll pay for your training. And I said, I'll give you a cash prize. I said, I'll give you $3,000 if you lose weight. That's a ton of money.
Yeah.
She couldn't do it. She couldn't stick to it for a month. Yeah.
Do I get the offer?
Well, you look like you're in shape.
Stop it. Come on.
You know? But that's my point. You know, one obstacle is that the women are lower quality. Okay. The benefits are not the same. Most women are not raised to be traditional wives and mothers. And the cost is getting higher. So, you know, it's becoming, divorces are getting more expensive. Weddings are getting more expensive. So when you combine the
Sounds like capitalism.
Oh, yeah.
They don't need to be, but they are often.
I agree, but it's not about what I want the world to be.
No,
I'm Catholic too, and I think there's awesome things about the Catholic Church, but
the pedophiles, they're pretty bad there.
That's a big but.
It's
never good to say I'm a part of this religion, but.
No, but it doesn't mean everyone's following it. It doesn't mean that's the norm. And I'm talking about what the world is, not what I want it to be.
No, but it's not just what you want it to be. I'm saying, like, if I'm a young man and I'm acknowledging a lot of the things you're saying, okay, it's tough dating out there. Mm-hmm. But look, I want to have kids. I want to have a family. Mm-hmm. Are you? I know you say you don't want to give men advice.
I say every man, you have to decide for yourself.
But let's say the man came to you and said, Pearl, I know what you, but I don't care what you want. I demand.
These hypothetical situations.
Well, we're just discussing a concept in the abstract. I think you're kind of sneaking around giving advice.
Me too.
I think you're saying, look, through my reason, I've arrived at this conclusion about what's rational and advisable, but I'm not giving advice. So let's get through all that. Let's say the man comes to you, says, Pearl, give me the advice. Should I get married?
Are we reporters or preachers?
I'm just a writer.
But that's my point.
A writer.
I'll give you an example. Yeah. Your options are going to be completely different than another guy's options.
Why? Because I'm devilishly handsome.
Yeah. Devilishly handsome, you know. Where that's not the case for every man has to decide.
Well, I think shut up.
For himself. Do you think men should be
Dude, the way that these two interact is so smarmy.
Extremely cautious when getting married.
I think they ought to be extremely prudent when getting married. Not cautious. I think courage is a virtue and the prerequisite for all the other virtues. So I don't think men should be little wallflowers backing away from a challenge, but they ought to be prudent. They ought to use their judgment properly. And so there are ways to mitigate risks within marriage. But furthermore, they ought to get married because that is the way to achieve the very thing you're suggesting they ought to, which is their purpose.
What if no women want to get
their purpose? Not everyone's purpose is to just be married. You don't need to be married. You don't have to have any fucking romantic relationships or anything. You can have multiple romantic relationships. You can have just one. It doesn't have to end in marriage. There's lots of ways that your life can permutate. You can have kids with no fucking spouse. There's not one way to do it, and that is a huge problem for conservatives. There's so many ways to live life, and they don't want you to. And that's really what it comes down to. They want you to be bottlenecked into what they like.
Get married.
Well, they do want to get married.
No, they don't.
I mean...
Because when women have the most choice, we don't choose marriage. Women have the most choice when it comes to commitment around the age.
Okay, but why don't they? And the answer is one that you would get from feminists, and the answer is that marriage does not benefit women, which is actually true. Their life expectancy drops by like 3 or 4 years, and the only people to gain happiness and life expectancy are the men. Women actually do not benefit from marriage. There's all sorts of studies.
Age of 22, they're not choosing to get married. I don't pay attention to what people say.
No, you mean when they have the most options, when they're the most marriageable. But But you will acknowledge those women who have been duped by feminism.
Duped by feminism.
Maybe even after they're past their prime marriageable age.
No,
they come to
I don't blame it on feminism. I look at it different. I know women that have been raised in this culture that chose to get married at 22, waited till me, I know women that did the whole, exactly what you're describing. So it was based on the choice. Every woman has choice. Every woman has agency.
And they got married.
Yes, but there's also women that chose to go on OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm saying.
I'm just saying, I think those women tend to regret it.
But I'm saying, I don't blame.
Tend to regret it. The only time people regret it is when there's social pressure on them to do so, right? Like people are holding it against them. They're being harassed about it. They're being, sexualized or whatever because some fucking freak found out, or a group of freaks did. They don't the self-generated, dislike of former OnlyFans employment is very rare, right? That's going to be internalizing all the stuff from external sources. You're not gonna be fine with sex work and then someday you're gonna be not fine with it. It's gonna be a react to social stigma and stuff.
Blaming your decisions on society because at the end of the day, you are responsible for the decisions that you make.
Right, but your education is responsible for forming the way that you think about things.
No, but there's people in the same education and they make different decisions.
When I mean education in the broad sense, meaning how people are raised, which gets to the point of marriage.
But I know there's people that that are raised in bad environments and choose not to do that. Everyone has everyone's got free will, Michael.
Sure, but we're also shaped by our social context and our educations.
Right, but aren't you you're responsible for the choices you make, right?
I'm a moral agent.
I
certainly.
am. Okay.
Why does Pearl have an audience? She's genuinely, startlingly stupid. I agree.
But I'm more morally free to act the more that I can discipline my lower passions and bring them into accord with my rational will. Which
Catholics fucking suck, dude.
Which is why I'm discussing marriage as a matter of reason.
My lower passions.
So I guess the question you'd have to ask is, even before we can say whether or not you want to give advice to men, but should they or shouldn't they? What is marriage for? What's the point of it?
Great question. So it used to be, and it still sort of is in some parts of the cultures around the world, and sometimes in America. It's a property transaction. You're purchasing a woman. Because oftentimes in society, women were not allowed to hold power, property, or wealth, which is often why, the wedding ring is a way to have wealth upon you, so that if you happen to be without a husband, you have some valuables on you, jewelry and other stuff that you can carry with you and take into another place to hopefully provide you some safety. So marriage ought to be, we're using oughts. What marriage ought to be is just a recognition within your community of two people's committed love to each other, if that's something they want to do. But we do a weird governmental thing here, which I get for American capitalist property rights and shit like that. But overall, it's mostly just it's ceremony. It's just ceremony. It's a party. The point of marriage ought to be just two people enjoying themselves or more. I don't care.
So what's the point of marriage?
I think that the point of marriage is,
pretty tough in a right-wing worldview, right? Unless you're a Christian, in which case they'll say something to the effect of producing children and, I don't know, some kind of godly holiness.
It's to create a union.
A $50K ceremony? Yeah, I'm not spending $50,000.
And it's supposed to be you are submitting to your husband's authority and you're creating a family.
And creating a family.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's forming a union with certain roles and, a structure, and to create a family.
And do you think that's how it's being used today for the average person? For the average person?
Yeah, it forms a union. It creates a family.
The average marriage is 7 years.
Yeah, but it's a union.
But
I think there's more to marriage than you described, but I think that those are some basics.
The average marriage is 7 years.
Right, but that still forms a union and often creates a family. That's what you're talking about, the struggles.
Right, but it's supposed to be for life, not for now.
I agree.
And that's what I say. It's not about what ought to be. It's about what is today. And right now, a man cannot have children in this country and not be signed up for the state contract. So
that's always been true.
I think But
the state contract, calling marriage the state contract to Michael Knowles is an interesting path.
my point is, why can't we change the laws first?
Because we
what
live
laws?
in time and space, and you'll die alone without having had kids and without having
Why?
joys of a family.
Why you guys?
You can have kids without and a family without being married.
You guys are one of the most influential media networks.
We are.
And
we're very persuasive, very powerful.
You guys are.
And yet we're not changing the divorce laws. Try as we might, it hasn't happened.
No, but you guys barely cover it.
So just doesn't want divorce to be an option, of course. The laws for what? Divorce. So, no fault divorce, get rid of it. Once you're married, you're stuck in that shit.
I talk about it all the time. What are you talking about? I talk about marriage on my show probably every single day.
Right, but when we talk about
lame.
specifics, I was, talking about the tender years doctrine.
Yeah.
It's like even in California.
Sure, but
If a woman lies,
Got my spiel ready.
is about paternity of the child, and it's not found out before the age of 2, that man's on child support for life, even though that woman committed fraud. And these are real things that happen in this country.
The man is on, if the father doesn't discover that he's not really the father.
Yeah.
Because he's acting basically as like a duped adoptive father or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again.
Because
that would be true.
the way the laws are is it goes in best interest of
So do you think most men are being duped like that? What the fuck?
to the child, which generally means the best interest of the mother.
Right, but you do not need to convince me that the divorce laws are dreadful.
Dude, what a cringy this is your profile photo? What is happening? Bask in the simple joys of being right. I realize that part of his model is to foster the smarm hate clicks, but it's just regular smarm. He's just regular smarmy.
Right.
What you do need to convince me of is that men ought not to be married until the laws are changed.
We love a good fuck box here on this channel.
It's cold.
And that was sure a fuck box. I am not a fan of either of those two people, and they were both mind-numbingly stupid the whole time. Great, we did it, chat. We're through it.